Have you ever wondered why 99% of men struggle when it comes to approaching a woman they find attractive? Maybe you've been there, you see someone who immediately catches your eye, but that voice in your head says, nope, not today. Well, let me tell you, everything you knew about how to approach women is wrong. But don't worry, because today we're going to flip the script, break down the barriers, and turn that nervous energy into unshakable confidence. Ready? Let's dive in. No one has told you this yet, but the way you're trying to get her attention isn't working, and it's not your fault. There's a secret blueprint to capturing someone's interest, and it's all about mastering the art of the first impression. Most guys freeze up, say the wrong thing, or worst of all, don't even try. But today, I'm going to show you exactly how to make her interested in you from the very first moment. Step 1, the art of the first impression. So, let's talk about first impressions. Stop doing what you've been doing and pay close attention here, because this mistake could cost you big. The moment you approach someone, they're already forming an opinion about you, and it's up to you to make sure it's a good one. Think about it. How you present yourself in those first few seconds can set the tone for the entire interaction. Take Juan, for example. He used to walk into social events with his head down, hoping someone would just magically notice him. But then he made a simple change. He started dressing in a way that made him feel confident, practiced an open, relaxed posture, and smiled just a bit more. The results? People started to notice him and his confidence skyrocketed. It's not about wearing a suit and tie, it's about wearing what makes you feel like the best version of yourself. And let's get one thing straight, confidence isn't about being the loudest person in the room or showing off. It's about being comfortable in your own skin, projecting that comfort through your body language, and making the other person feel comfortable too. Ever notice how some people just have a magnetic presence? They aren't necessarily the best dressed or the most handsome, but there's something about the way they carry themselves that draws people in. That's the kind of first impression we're talking about. But wait, there's more to it. A big part of making that first impression stick is being aware of your environment. If you're at a casual get-together, dressing in a three-piece suit might not be the best idea. But if you're at a more formal event, you don't want to be the guy in jeans and a t-shirt either. It's all about adapting to the situation while staying true to your own style. When you find that balance, you're not just fitting in, you're standing out. Now, let's talk about the power of a smile. It's something so simple yet so often overlooked. A genuine smile can disarm even the most guarded person. It says, I'm friendly, approachable, and confident. But here's the key, it has to be genuine. People can sense when you're faking it, and that's a surefire way to ruin your first impression. So relax, think of something that makes you happy, and let that natural smile come through. Finally, let's not forget about eye contact. This one can be tricky because too much can come off as intense or even creepy, but too little makes you seem disinterested or insecure. The sweet spot is somewhere in the middle. Make eye contact when you're speaking or listening, but don't stare. Combine that with an open posture and you'll be sending all the right signals. Step 2, initiating the conversation. Okay, now that you've made a killer first impression, it's time to initiate the conversation. And here's where most guys go wrong, they overthink it. They get so caught up in what to say that they either say nothing or they come across as awkward. But here's the secret, you don't need a perfect line. What you need is a genuine question that opens up a dialogue. Let me tell you about Carlos. He was painfully shy, but with a little practice, he turned that around. One day at the park, he spotted a woman reading a book. Instead of just saying hi and walking away, he asked, hey, I'm looking for something new to read. Any recommendations? Simple, right? But it worked. She responded with enthusiasm, and just like that, they were talking. Why? Because he showed genuine interest in her opinion, and that's something most people aren't used to. The key here is ask open-ended questions that can't be answered with a simple yes or no. This not only shows that you're interested in her thoughts, but it also gives her a chance to express herself, making the conversation flow naturally. But what if you're not in a situation where asking for a book recommendation makes sense? No worries. Open-ended questions can be adapted to any context. Maybe you're in a coffee shop and she's ordering something you've never tried. You could say, I've never had that before, how is it? Or if you're at a social event, something as simple as, how do you know the hosts? Can work wonders. The point is to ask something that invites her to share more about herself. And here's a pro tip. When she responds, don't just move on to the next question. Dig a little deeper. If she tells you she's reading a particular book, ask what she likes about it, or if she's read anything similar. If she's trying a new coffee, ask what other drink she likes. This shows that you're genuinely interested in what she has to say and that you're not just going through the motions. Remember, the goal isn't to impress her with your knowledge or wit, it's to make her feel heard and understood. When you can do that, you're already miles ahead of the competition. And here's the thing, once she feels that connection, she'll be more likely to open up and the conversation will flow naturally. No awkward silences, no forced topics, just a genuine, engaging dialogue. Step 3, building a connection. Now that you've got the conversation rolling, the next step is crucial: building a genuine connection. This is where you stop talking and start listening. Yes, really listening. Too many guys think that to impress someone, they need to talk about themselves nonstop. But the truth is, if you want to connect with someone, you need to show interest in them. Matteo, a guy I know, used to think that sharing his life story was the way to win someone over. But when he learned to turn the conversation around, everything changed. He met a woman in a bookstore, and instead of going on about his love for sci-fi, he asked her about her favorite books. Turns out she loves sci-fi too. From there, they found more common ground and built a connection that went beyond just small talk. It's not about oversharing or trying to impress. It's about finding that common ground and letting the conversation evolve naturally. When you do that, you'll find that the other person is more likely to open up to you, creating a connection that's both meaningful and lasting. But how do you actually go about building that connection? It's all about paying attention to the details. Listen to what she's saying and look for opportunities to relate on a deeper level. Maybe she mentions that she loves hiking. If you've done some hiking yourself, share a story or ask about her favorite trails. If you haven't, express genuine curiosity and ask her what she enjoys about it. The goal is to create a back and forth that feels effortless and organic. And here's something else to keep in mind. It's not just about what she says, but how she says it. Pay attention to her tone of voice, her body language, and the emotions behind her words. If she lights up when talking about a particular topic, dive deeper into that subject. If she seems hesitant or reserved, steer the conversation in a different direction. The more attuned you are to her cues, the stronger your connection will be. Another powerful way to build a connection is through empathy. Show that you understand and care about her feelings. If she's sharing something personal or emotional, acknowledge it with a simple, "That sounds tough," or "I can see why that's important to you." This doesn't mean you have to agree with everything she says, but it shows that you're paying attention and that you value her perspective. And don't be afraid to share a little bit about yourself too. While it's important not to dominate the conversation, sharing a relevant story or experience can help build trust and make the interaction feel more balanced. Just make sure it's something that adds to the conversation and isn't just a way to turn the spotlight back on yourself. Step 4, the perfect goodbye. All right, so you've made a great first impression, started a conversation, and built a connection. But there's one more step that's just as important: the goodbye. The way you end the interaction can leave a lasting impression, and it's your chance to pave the way for future meetings. Pedro nailed this. After a great conversation with someone he was really interested in, he didn't just say, "Nice meeting you," and walk away. Instead, he smiled and said, "I've really enjoyed our conversation. How about we exchange numbers so we can keep in touch? I'd love to hear more about your projects." It was a natural, pressure-free way to express his interest in staying connected. A well-executed goodbye does more than just end the conversation, it opens the door to something more. By showing genuine interest in continuing the connection, you're making it clear that you're not just looking for a quick chat, but for something deeper. But let's break this down a little further. The key to a perfect goodbye is timing and delivery. You don't want to drag out the conversation until it fizzles out, but you also don't want to cut it short before you've made a real connection. Look for a natural pause in the conversation, maybe after a laugh or when you've both shared something meaningful. That's your cue to make your exit. And when you do say goodbye, make sure it's confident and sincere. A simple "I've had a great time talking with you," followed by a specific reason for staying in touch, works wonders. Maybe it's because you both love a certain author, or because you're interested in her work or hobbies. Whatever the reason, make it personal and relevant to the conversation you've just had. One more thing, don't be afraid to be direct. If you're interested in seeing her again, say so. There's nothing wrong with showing your interest as long as it's done respectfully and without pressure. Something like "I'd love to grab coffee sometime and continue our conversation" is a great way to express your interest while leaving the ball in her court. And here's a little bonus tip: follow up. If you exchange numbers, send a text the next day saying how much you enjoyed your conversation. It's a simple gesture, but it goes a long way in showing that you're genuinely interested in getting to know her better. So there you have it, your blueprint for approaching someone new with confidence and authenticity. Remember, it's all about making a great first impression, asking the right questions, building a real connection, and leaving the door open for future interactions. The next time you see someone who catches your eye, you'll be ready to make a move that's respectful, effective, and most importantly, genuine. Now, I want to hear from you. What's been your biggest challenge when it comes to meeting new people? Drop a comment below, and don't forget to hit that like button if you found these tips helpful. Your support helps us create more content like this. And hey, if you're ready to dive even deeper, check out the link in the description for more resources that'll take your communication skills to the next level. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.